All right, good evening, everybody. This is Teresa Crack. I am one of your SWE PNW section reps for FY17 and also the virtual brand coordinator. And welcome to our skills workshop tonight. We're going to be talking about the PechaKucha, and I apologize for the pronunciation on that, presentation style. And we're going to be doing a little bit of an introduction to what the concept is. We might talk about some of the TED Talks that we have on our reference list. And I've got a quick demo of at least to give it a go for the SWE PNW style. And then we'll brainstorm some topics because next Thursday, people are going to have the opportunity to come back and give this presentation style a go and present to their fellow SWE PNW members. And I think we've got at least one person on the phone. If you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience so that they know who the voice is and the person is, and tell us whatever you would like to about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Chunshen Wu. I currently live in the Greater Seattle area. So I'm just very interested in this topic, and yeah, I'm interested in learning more about it.
Well, perfect. Tonight it helps to have at least some live participation. And I'm just going to switch over here, and I am watching the chat window for anybody that is watching live through the YouTube app. I am watching the chat window, so if you've got questions there, please go ahead and post them, and we'll try to answer them as we go. Full disclosure, I am not an expert in this style. This was something that came out of one of our virtual brand meetings as an idea of something that we could try to do a quick skills development with members from the section. So I'm learning this tonight as well. I've done a little bit of prep work. Through the concept and some FAQs on this. So the concept is that you're going to be showing 20 for 20 seconds, which gives you a presentation total of 6 minutes and 40 seconds. That's used to essentially, give a narrative, tell a story, show a concept. But it's the art of doing it in a concise way using visuals more than your typical PowerPoint presentation. For those that are wondering, we will post these links out after the event, but right now all of the links that we're going to be showing or talking about tonight are in our Eventbrite down at the bottom under references and resources. So that will still be a live event through next Thursday's session, so feel free to go check that out. But the first two that we're going to take a look at and kind of are the homepage and the FAQ. So if I do this right, it should load up. Page in the FAQ. I did try to preload these web pages, but unfortunately I am on a slightly slower internet connection with a laptop tonight, so we might be so one of the things on this is there are several TEDx talks out there that we've got listed on our references page, and because it's really hard to do that through the Hangout Live, we'll talk a little bit about what those are after we go through the concept and the FAQ page part. Hopefully that'll help give everybody enough of a baseline to get going for next week. And apparently my webpage is, checked this before we started tonight, and apparently they cycled back. So I apologize for the delay on getting these up here. Right. So not have worked exactly like I had planned. So we'll let those churn and load there. So we'll maybe talk a little bit about what I saw in the TED Talks and give you some recommendations. So with our playlist. So this is a list of I think at least 20 plus videos that follow this style. And some of them are better than others. I pulled out 1, 2, 3 that I thought were the best to give us a feel of the style, explain the style, and actually I believe by the creators of the style or some people that helped develop it. Here, how it changed my life is a really interesting take from the presenter Eddie, and that's where he talks about having jaw surgery, and his jaw was basically wired shut, so he had to completely revamp how he communicated with the external world. And so he talks about how he used this presentation style as a way to still be able to communicate his ideas, but do it concisely and using visuals. And that really helped him when he was in this period of not actually being able to talk. So I thought that's a really interesting one that explains not only what the concept was and how it impacted somebody's specific situation, presentation in the PechaKucha style, so that you can see a good example of it. And then the designing space one is also a really good one, and takes through a story of an architecture design for a common sort of social space. It gives a really good idea of how to use this for a narrative or with the pictures and the concept that Nicole Holloway is presenting. So that's why I picked that one as a good one for people to go watch and get a feel for it. And then this one, if I recall correctly, presenters, it's one of the earlier ones, I think, with the style. And you can see how much fun that they're having with the style, but even as practice people or developing it, they talk about how like 20 seconds isn't a lot of time when you're trying to get through a concept for an image, if you're trying to pack too much in. So it gives you that practice of balancing what you're saying and pulling out the most important pieces, but also against the images. So that's why I picked those three there. We'll see if we've got some good things here. So this is the loading page that goes through, and there's a whole bunch of, you can watch, you can look for local nights. I think I've seen a couple of Seattle-specific nights out on things like Meetup. And the most helpful is over here on the FAQ. And they are, where did I see this? The part that I get on this is, it's an informal piece. You can use it professionally, but you can also use it to just get together and practice your presentation skills, where, professionally, I don't often get the opportunity to present formally, but being able to get together and do these sort of one-off SWE online events or in-person things can give you the idea of practicing your skills for presentation so that when you need them, they're not rusty. And I think it's the other aspect of this that I think is really appealing, and why on the virtual brand team we thought this would be a cool thing to bring to the section, potentially even as a reoccurring event, is that it provides an opportunity to not only practice communication, but to be creative with your communication. It's practicing creativity, that you may not always get to do in your day-to-day job or academic life. So that's kind of the top level, my understanding of this style, and at least from the research and viewing the TED Talks, what I've gotten out of the style from looking at it so far. Did you have any questions, or was there anything specific about the style that you wanted to ask about or discuss tonight?
So you gave a very, I think, a clear introduction about the styles, and I'm just wondering, because I think for female engineers, a lot of times will be presenting data or more technical, I guess, focused content. How will you incorporate that into this kind of presentation style? Can you maybe share a few insights on that?
Yeah, I can share some speculation, having not practiced this yet. Mm-hmm. But one of the things, kind of going with the emphasis here on the visuals, oftentimes, especially with engineering presentation, there's a whole component of presentations that involves audience analysis. So if I'm getting in a room and I'm having a huge technical discussion and we're trying to work out the technical details, my presentation is going to probably have more on the facts and data, or the graphs, or the charts, or in my case, FAA regulation, because that's what we need to look at for that technical discussion. So I'm not sure that this style would work for that specific kind of discussion. However, oftentimes you have to present the same kind of information, but at a summary level, to say your boss or executive leadership. Sort of interesting rules of thumb that I've heard is that the higher up in management you have to present, the more visual and the less technical you have to go, because their time is going to be significantly shorter and their attention span is going to be significantly shorter because of everything that they have to do. So if I was having to present a technical issue to, say, an executive summary audience, I would be focusing more on the visuals and the idea of I need to keep this as concise as possible, because I can't do an hour presentation to explain it. I have to be able to get it into like an elevator pitch, because that might be all of the time, all of their time that I have. So that's where I see practicing this kind of, 20 images, 20 seconds for 6 minutes and 40 seconds, practice of taking big ideas, making them visual, making them concise, and whether or not you use this style exactly in the workplace, just that practice of making it more concise and more visual can help you with those audience analyses based on what you have to present in the workplace. At least that's my theory.
Thank you.
Any other questions or anything else you wanted to ask or brainstorm on?
So
it's okay if not.
Okay. I was wondering, because the topic is 20/20, 20 images, 20 seconds. Is it like a, is like a very strict requirement, or is just showing the concept of this kind of style?
So specifically for this branded PechaKucha style, it's 20 images in 20 seconds. And I do apologize for anybody that knows how to pronounce that who may be watching the replay later. Please forgive me. So this is the requirement. It's 20 images, 20 seconds, and that's what you got. But that concept, though, I think you can expand and play with, where your own presentation style, because I've seen some concepts like this at, say, like the SWE conferences, the annual conference, the society conference, I should say, or the WE locals, or what was the regional conferences, where some people, they don't even use words. They just toss pictures up for major parts of their presentation because it's that kind of presentation. Where maybe in a later part, they're putting more words or examples up on the slide. So I think you can bring this into any presentation that you do, even if you're planning on presenting an hour-long session at, say, a conference.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Okay. I'm just kind of thinking on the fly here. So, so anything else you want to go through?
Oh, no, I think I'm good at this moment.
Okay, so, and we kind of hit the TED Talks as things were loading. I do highly recommend, if you're going to give this style a try, that you come out to the homepage, the FAQ page, you read through a little bit of the information here, and you watch some of the example videos, just because different way that they employ the style, and you can definitely tailor about to this. So now we come to the big bold part of the evening session, where I'm going to, on the fly, try to do this for a presentation that I basically snagged and put together right before starting our event this evening. But what I did, from a quick demo perspective, let me in the right spots here. All right. So without stealing too much thunder from myself, I'm just going to show you what I did first, and then I'll present it. Just because, I might as well walk through my process, since we're learning this. In full disclosure, like I said, I haven't done this before, so this will be potentially really interesting. All right, let's see if we can't get this into the right screen. All right. All right, come on, PowerPoint. There are days that I just feel like my computer needs a cheering squad. Today is apparently one of those days. All right, so this was my concept. So for tonight, I figured what better topic to start with than something I can easily go other than, SWE PNW. Title slide, just because it's a, I didn't want it to start right away with the timing. So you can see there's no timing there. Then I went and I grabbed, because I do the virtual brand stuff, I went out and grabbed the images or the pictures that we've done in this past year or the social share cards. And I had 21 slides and I dropped them on slides. And then I rearranged them in a way that I thought might make some sense. And as I speak through things, this is tonight because I haven't practiced the actual presentation part. And then I highlighted everything from 20 to 21, or from slide 2 to 21. And I set it up so that they each have 20 seconds. So I don't have to click. It will click for me and it will cut from one to the other. So that's my basic template. And because these are pictures, I put everything on a black background so then it didn't look funny or highlight the white or things like that. So again, this was just me playing with it to toss something together quickly. So let's see if we can't pull this up. Our presentation. And yeah, spoilers, yes, you've seen all the images, but you don't know what I'm going to say yet because I don't know what. And 20 seconds goes by really quickly. I did a quick time of myself, just sort of, what I say in an average 20 seconds. And it can be really long if you're not sure what you want to say. It can also be really short if you have way more information than what, say, the slide is showing. And apparently we're thinking really hard. I do apologize for the slowness. I unfortunately had to switch back to an older laptop because my tablet is out for getting fixed right now. So, all right, let's see if we can't get our title slide up here. Okay, it's thinking. I'm hesitant to click anything because now it's going to want to click and start, and then I'm not going to know what to do with my 20 seconds. All right, let me know when you see the title pop up on your slide. Right now, it looks like it's still loading for the share. But we'll see if we can't get this going. All right, I've got the title on my slide. Let me know when you can see it on your side.
Oh, I can see it now.
Okay, perfect. All right, so this is our completely unofficial demo deck. All right, and I'm going to do a little bit of a pause here because the idea is that maybe I might splice this out of our video later, and then I will go ahead and kind of, I'll reintroduce myself just because, it'll be the formal presentation of that versus a demo in the meeting. All right. And here we go. In theory. All right, my name is Teresa Crack, and I am one of your SWE PNW section reps, and this is our demo version of the PechaKucha style, where it's 20 images for 20 seconds each. Our first image we're starting with is our SWE PNW logo. This is the brand new SWE logo that they launched this year with our Pacific Northwest in the bottom. The next one that we're going to be talking about is we do have a blog. Our blog is called Rainy Day Reads, and we have a lot of great series out on that blog, including some event highlights, some official SWE business about our elections. We'll be posting our slate and our bios for our elections that are coming up. One of the other things that we do is we do a newsletter. This is what's on the cover of our newsletter, and that newsletter does sort of a retroactive look of what we've done so far. So the next newsletter should be coming out here in the next week or so. Been pulling together the event recaps and the leadership letter from that, so we hope we will be seeing that soon. You can see that's a nice washout of our Seattle space line there. Set of events that fall under our outreach and volunteering section. The cool thing right now that we've been doing is you see all that, the image behind there, that's the image we use for our outreach and volunteering email and for helping brand our stuff when we do those kinds of events. And we do tons of stuff, including having like outreach booth at the PSEC engineering fair. And we've got some of our SWE members there who are doing the volunteering. So that's an opportunity for you to go volunteer at the booth and see all those fun hands-on activities. It's a great way to interact with the kids and, spend a Saturday feeling awesome about the future of engineering. This one here, Expanding Your Horizons Network. So this is a series of events that we partner with, and it's another one of those girls to sign up for these events, run through a series of sessions, and from SWE PNW, we often coordinate these events, and we look for volunteers to take shifts at the event. Other opportunities include reaching out to Girl Scouts. Girl Scouts of Western Washington has a First Tech Challenge and First Lego League team. And I love their logo here. These are the bearded pineapples. They invited us to go to their open house. And not only is that team, but also the Girl Scouts, they're looking for mentors to help with the first robotics programs that they do. One of the other things that falls under outreach is scholarships. This was our scholarships for this past year. And they typically run, they open in October and close by December. We have 3 different scholarships that we offer with a lot of different ranges on the dollar amounts. It's another great way. You can donate to SWE PNW, or you can volunteer to help review that. Another area where we've got is professional development. Again, you see that sort of puzzle piece logo that helps with our branding of our professional development sections. This covers a whole gamut of stuff, from skills workshops to technical tours to development. So we just announced recently that we're going to be doing a skills workshop, which is a martial arts based self-defense seminar. Self-defense is a huge thing, and that mental discipline of martial arts can bring not only to the self-defense an awesome component, but that can then go back and help you in your professional life as well. And you don't need any prior martial arts experience for that. We have a whole nother category of events, which is social and networking. Again, we're reaching out to our members. We're wanting to engage with you and help you engage with other people. And we do a lot of in-person stuff with this. And it ranges from, we've got an annual holiday party, or where we did some glass blowing. So you can see that we get together and do some fun activities as well. And there's usually people, and you get to network with those people. You get to socialize, and you get to do a fun activity. We did an event earlier this year that was a puzzle room. For those opportunities, and we're always open to taking suggestions, whether it's at going out and doing something. As with a lot of events, we love food. Food is a great thing to have at events, whether it's, some of our PD events will also include either a snack, an appetizer, or meal in the cost of the event. Our holiday party included a lovely set of food. Again, this is at the glass blowing event. We did a SWE Goes Out and SWE Goes to the Movies. We've also done a wine tasting, which also included a tour. And that's a great way to socialize and get to know your SWEsters, and also get to know who might have similar sort of socializing drivers, because most of us are transplants to Seattle. So what better way to get to know people who like to do what you do than looking for those SWE PNW social and networking. One of our other focused areas of social and networking is our book club. So we've got a monthly book club. Those events, at least through the end of this fiscal year and some into the beginning of FY18, are posted out on the webpage in our calendar. So you can go ahead and see what books we're going to be reading for the book club. And this month we're reading one on, I think, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and a biography on her. And we meet over in Redmond at the Growler USA, America's Microbrew Pub. Appetizers, and if you like beer, they have great beer too, at least so I hear. And we would love for you to come and join us. Thing on the book club, you don't need to read the book. You can come and join for the discussion as well and learn about the book as well. One of the other things we have are online only events. This was a brand new thing that we launched in FY17, and you're on one right now, or you're listening to the replay of one. And we've done getting started with LinkedIn and getting the LinkedIn profile going, a peer resume review, and then this one, learning about presentation styles. For a way to get involved with SWE PNW, we have an executive council. These are the leaders of your section. It's the elected officers, which will be having a slate out for our FY18 elections, hopefully somewhere in the next month. But it's also a great way that if you're wanting to participate on a committee, or help with outreach, or help with bylaws reviews, it's fantastic. And here's some of our lovely leaders. Left to right, that's me, Teresa Crack on the left. We have Suzanne Hakem holding the bird. She's our treasurer. Grace Lefebvre, who's our president, and Kalyani Malala, or last name, but she's another one of our section reps. So this was a picture where we actually all got together when we were at the annual conference. And finally, we have our big end of year banquet coming up. We have a guest speaker. We wrap up the year. We tell you all the awesome stuff we did. And we have brunch. It's going to be Saturday, May 20th. An event details should be coming out soon. We hope to see you there to wrap out the fantastic year. And we basically, that's where we go with SWE PNW. We're going to call that done. So other than talking fast, because 20 seconds, to fill, but also not a lot of time. So what did you think about the style? You don't have to judge me.
I think the presentation was really good. You definitely covered a lot of details, and then I actually think the pace was pretty good. Even though it sounds like you, because you've been talking for 6 minutes straight, and then it feels like towards the end, I can tell really
running out of steam.
But overall, I think it was great. Like 20 seconds really didn't seem to be very long, especially when you have a very clear picture in front of you.
Yeah. One of the things from the presentation side, one of the reasons that I typically go through and practice, especially longer presentations, is I always try to mentally tell myself, okay, this is where I need to pause and breathe, or this is where I need to do that. Doing this in 6 minutes and 40 seconds, it's like I almost would have to practice this once or twice just to make sure I remember to tell myself to breathe. I was a swimmer, competitive like through high school and college, and swimming was always an activity for me. And you train yourself not to breathe as frequently so that you can, make better times, because the more you breathe, the more you turn your body. So in my head, sometimes I have to force myself when I'm doing something like this. It's not about a swim race. It's about breathe so you don't pass out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, actually that was pretty fun. It was like I said, I hadn't practiced, didn't have a script, and I was basically speaking on the fly. But I mean, I could definitely see this being something, polish it up, maybe swap out a few images.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate this style from being able to give a narrative or a story.
Right.
Present.
Well, I definitely think that it went really smoothly, and then you covered just a lot of details, and I think that was really impressive. Being able to cram that much information in just 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's like you realize how much information it is, and that's why I tried to pick pictures. So when I went through my logic, part of it was it pictures that I already had downloaded, because I only had about 45 minutes to pick the pictures before jumping on the call tonight. And it's like I grabbed what I could quickly represent the story I wanted to tell about SWE PNW. And I think picking your pictures is really important, but the order of the pictures is almost more important for the stream of consciousness and the discussion going. Because like I kind of grouped some things by what they were so that I could take one topic and go into the next, kind of like a wave between the two of them. So I think, when preparing this style, the order is something that I would definitely make sure that you focus on. And if the order is not working, it's very easy to move them around.
So you did mention that you did mention a little bit about the pace. So I actually think your pace was really good, but maybe it's because we're doing a one-on-one.
Okay.
So if we're, say if you're doing this for a bigger audience, then I guess just did you try to slow yourself down, or did you try to speed up during this presentation?
So there were a couple of spots I felt myself speeding up, because all of a sudden, because I was watching on the presentation view, I was watching the clock to see where the 20-second mark was, because I hadn't practiced this to know how quickly it felt. So there were a couple of times that the slide changed and I'm like, oh, I'm not done with that thought, but I got to move on to the next one. And then, just kind of a little bit of a rush I felt between some of the slides. But I definitely felt that, like, so I have a range of speeds. When I talk normally, and even a little bit here, it's a little bit quicker. It's a little bit more fast paced for discussion speed. When I present, I try to really, take it down and be much more deliberate with my presentation and build in more of those pauses to let people's brains process what I'm talking about. I definitely felt that I was closer to my speaking speed than I was my normal presentation speed, which actually kind of works with this presentation because it's a quicker pace. It's like you're only spending 20 seconds. The intent is to keep moving. So I feel like you could pack a lot of information in and move quickly. I also feel like you could potentially choose more images and talk about a topic longer so that it's a slower pace, but maybe covers less information. Like, I probably could have done a thing on any one of our event areas and explained more about what we do in those areas and had more pictures. Like, outreach and volunteering is a perfect example because we have so many different kinds of opportunities. Here, for tonight, I picked the 4 pictures I had possible to highlight the biggest variety of things that we do, but I could probably do 6 minutes and 40 on just that, or say what we've done with our professional development. So I think you can pace and adjust the speed and the level of content by you want your narrative to have.
Right.
Again, that's my theory. I don't know. For a first time run, it was pretty kind of fun.
Yeah, it went pretty well. Good job.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so that is actually all that I had prepared for today in terms of, like, style and going to this. The last activity, and we've got a few minutes, I wanted to talk about maybe what topics we're going to be doing. And I'm going to actually, we'll do this over in the chat bar. Oh, oops, hang on, I'm in the wrong chat bar. All right, topic, brainstorming, and my typing is apparently not. All right, so I am chatting this out on the YouTube thing, and I'm not sure if you are on the YouTube chat. Not, because I will record our thoughts that we have. And I'm going to leave the presentation up on the right just because I'm not sure. It appears that my computer does not like me switching shares between monitors right now. About a topic that, just for fun. I mean, this is just practice. SWE PNW might be interested in hearing about, or that you might be interested in presenting about next Thursday, or say we offer another one of these nights in the future. So what topics would you think might be good for this style?
Oh, me?
Yeah. Well, you're my audience today, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess probably back to our earlier discussion, I was wondering, because you did mention that this kind of technique would be better for, like a summary or maybe a more general introduction of the topic. But I was just wondering, like, if we can try to use this style to maybe walk through a problem, like a practical or more technical problem that people can encounter in their work place. Like when they have this kind of a situation, how can they use this kind of presentation style to show or present the problem to their colleagues?
Okay, so use the style to present a we'll say technical challenge.
Right.
Technical to colleagues to start brainstorming. Right, that's the concept? I think. And if you want to see the chat, I did post the live broadcast link to the SWE PNW Facebook page. I don't know if it will let me do this out on my desktop. So this is what it tells me the web address is, if you want to follow along with the chat. One of the things that I think in terms of doing this style, I think this would be great for an event recap.
Right, definitely.
Or report out. Like, you know, tell us about how something went. And that's whether it's a SWE event or whether it's the, you know, I planned this big event at work and I need to report out on it. And specifically more to the SWE side, I think it's definitely a style that can, you know, focus on an area of SWE. Focus on an area of SWE PNW and give more info. Again, putting these ideas out there for anybody that might be joining us next Thursday to actually present. Like, you know, in the professional development, tell us what you do with it. Or if you're an outreach volunteer, tell us your outreach volunteer story. It also could be a thing to tell us your SWE story. Like, you know, when did you join? Why did you join? What have you gotten out of it? Have you gone to any conferences? I could definitely see like a whole thing. It could be a conference recap too. I don't know about you, but whenever I go to a SWE conference or any conference, I always come back with way more pictures than I should ever have on my phone and need to get them off quickly. Any other ideas from your side?
Oh, can you repeat that?
Just opening it back up. Any other ideas from your side in terms of topics that you might see for this?
No, I think you've covered pretty much most of it.
And I'll add the ubiquitous my summer /holiday vacation, because, you know, this could totally take the place of showing somebody 100 slides and just pick 20 of your best ones and tell us a 6-minute and 40-second story about your holiday. Or family traditions, that would be cool. I know, like, there are a lot of people in SWE PNW, but also just in terms of my networking with SWE, everybody comes from a, you know, different background, and there's been a lot of times, especially when you talk at like the holiday parties and stuff like that, you know,
right,
what do you do, or what do you do that's, you know, part of your traditions. All right, well, I think we've got some ideas in the chat. What I will do is I will take our brainstorming list and I will update the Eventbrite page for next Thursday's event, so that you can see some of the topics that we came up with. If you are coming to next Thursday's event, please feel free to pick one of these topics. More than one person can pick the same topic because everybody's going to have a different take on it, or come up with your own topic. And please, if you're watching the replay, I encourage you to participate in next Thursday's event, or keep your eye out, because we might try to offer some more of these as we go forward in terms of a quick online event for practicing presentation skills. Thank you for joining us live or on the replay, and I will officially open it up for any last questions. Any last questions?
Oh, I'm just wondering because like when you select the pictures,
Yeah.
do you follow a certain kind of rules? I did notice that you do have some slides where you have more words than the others. When you present, you definitely didn't, you know, talk word by word on that slide. So I was just wondering, you know, when you select the pictures for the slides, how do you make the choice? any.
So in this case, everything that you see on there is something that was made into an image to share on social media. So even with the words, it's got the image. So I thought that that might technically be cheating in terms of the word things versus not. But for the exercise tonight, and since we're talking about SWE PNW, most of these are things that we've shared with the words, and so I thought it would be good to show how we share it or how we use it for branding to help with that of professional development is kind of looking like this, or our scholarship thing looks like this, or we just announced this, or our social card for the banquet. So that if you go back to our Facebook page, if you look through the history, you'll see some of these pictures, or if you go back to the newsletter, you'll see some of these pictures. Did it for tonight. There were a couple of the example presentations that did have words on there, but it was still 20 seconds of words per slide. It wasn't like they filled the slide and were presenting the words. They used the words as kind of a graphical image versus of reading it or presenting the words on the slide. So I'm not sure the official ruling on that, but they're all technically JPEGs, so I'm calling them pictures.
Okay.
All right, well, we are at our hour. Feel free to comment on the YouTube video, or let us know in the Facebook page or our SWE PNW member forum Facebook group if you got any comments on tonight's session or when you watch the replay. And I hope we will see some of you next Thursday. And have a fantastic evening.